Hello there, I am, as you all know, me by Jax Briggs, and my alternate ID for these listed art sites is Opponent U2000, and that is also my ID for PlayStation Network. Alright, I just want to throw out there, I'm not right off the block a natural born artist, but I'm gonna do my best at what I can. I'm only learning all the steps of digital art. I could never promise I'd be good at actually drawing art. No, I couldn't. I might be, but that would take some practice. Of course, practicing this digital art takes a lot of practice too, depending on how detailed you want to go with it. Alright, so anyway, I decided to try my hand at it. I mean, after a little while of searching on the internet, you know how when you go on the internet, Google, Bing, whatever you use, you Bing up something you think that might be out there, and you go look and you don't find what you want to find. Instead, you might find something completely not even not even part of the subject you are looking for. So I decided, why keep looking and looking and looking for it when I know I'm not going to find it, so why don't I just make it myself? I knew right then and there it wasn't going to be that easy. I mean, putting pixels on a screen may seem simple just to make a picture. Yeah, it is simple. But the picture you're wanting to make with those pixels, that's a whole new level. And if you want it to look good, that's not as simple as it originally sounds. And it can get quite irritating. I should know. So, here's the picture of the prototype series. That's what I call it, a picture. But you will be able to find it by searching my first try at art. Digital. My first try at digital art. My bad. You'll be able to find it at both DeviantArt and To Fur Affinity. Alright, so here we have the first prototype. This is clearly just a doodle. No effort, no nothing. The only effort that was put in it was to actually put the pixels on the screen. So, I mean, those points you see all along it, that was supposed to be like the fur sticking out, because I looked at a couple of pictures, thought I'd try it, and this is just a simple and plain way to do it, but no detailing was really inquired whatsoever. I told myself that night, I just decided, I'm gonna toy around this first night, but next time I'm gonna put some effort into it. And so that's pretty much the end of prototype 2. Prototype 1. Now we're moving over to prototype 2. Now I will tell you, I am using Windows Paint, so I was able to make the outlines with actual lines. How other pixel digital art creators are, I don't know. I would like to have some recommendations on what to use. Thank you. Okay, so like I said, those lines are used by the lines of Windows Paint. And as you've probably already noticed, it says it's unfinished. That I'll get to that in a moment. I incorporated more time into this one. Of course, a lot more time than I did the first one. Reason is because if you look right here, there is a difference between solid color and then multiple colors put in to this work. I do it. If you have Windows Paint, then I can tell you that I use the pencil, not the one you get out of the paint brushes, but the one over there by the paint bucket, because I like to do it pixel by pixel to make sure it's pixel perfect. Anyway, I did what I called shading, and I thought it turned out pretty good. It turned out a lot better than the first one, because I figured with the first one, just doing solid color would be okay. No, it turned out terrible. Abso-freaking-lutely terrible. So, I decided I'd look at other people's art, like detailed art, not doodles, to make sure that I knew I was getting the right knowledge. And I saw that they had been doing some kind of shading, so I incorporated that into number 2. It looked great, at least from my angle, and if you notice, it's got that little bend in the middle. I tried making that look good. Doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great either. And it looks kind of grainy too. So, but that was only my second try, mind you. Now, we go to the part where I was going to tell you why it was unfinished. If you notice at the top, the line is not a straight line. It is curvy. It's not meant to be curvy because, well, I didn't finish it in. Reason is because at a certain point I got irritated because I didn't have when you hit the X on Windows Paint, you lose any colors you had saved, and it resets you back to black and white, as anybody using Windows Paint would know. But this wasn't the case. I had gone so far up with shading, I didn't realize that I wasn't doing it right. I mean, I did a whole line across from bottom to top. That wasn't good. And I noticed that it didn't look right, and I didn't even decide to color it because I knew it, because it didn't look as good as what it did below. So I just stopped there. I mean, at that point of irritation, yeah, it can be bad and good, depend on how you look at it. But like I said before, it's only my first try. So yeah, that's pretty much it for prototype 2. But do notice that I did do something different with the tail. That was complete shading, and I thought it looked freaking cool, and I was hoping that the rest of it would look just as cool, but it didn't. Now, over to prototype 3. I will agree with a lot of people. Prototype 2 should have been prototype 3, and prototype 3 should have been prototype 2. I couldn't agree more with you. But I spent more time on it than I did prototype 2. Reason is because I made a big green circle around it using Windows circles and painted it green. And I was trying to go for a different aspect of it, and well, it didn't really work very well, as you could tell. and I didn't plan for it to be so small. Each one I wanted to make a different color, and well, this just turned out crappy all over. The tail, the tip of the tail was terrible, and it was a little bit grainy and just didn't work out. But I ended up keeping it anyway. And when I was shading, it ended up running in together. And that wasn't quite what I planned for. But it did take a while, because then I had to clear all the green circle out from it, and then I had to clean it up as far as all the green physically around it, because I cut it from the area and put it in a new one. So yeah, that's pretty much the story, the long and glorious story of the amazing Prototype 3. Anyway, over to Prototype 4. My masterpiece, as I called it. I truly didn't expect it to look the way it did. That's why I experimented. That's there, if anybody could really tell, there I did nothing but continuous shading. Over and 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 over. Until finally I completed it. Now, I didn't expect the separation from the tip of the tail and the rest of the tail to be so visible. But it is what it is. I didn't want to change it at all. I thought it looked great. The tail altogether. I mean, it took me at least 3 days on and off, as it does say. But I did a lot of work on those 3 days. Nah, probably about 15 to 20 to at least 25 minutes in between there. But doing this, that could be a long time. Of course, theoretically, might have been more than a week. 3 days on and off, but that doesn't matter. What matters is it's done and it looks good. The tail was shading. The tip of the tail was shaded. The rest of the tail was shaded. And if you notice, I try to make the outlines more invisible as far as the edges go. And at the time when I did that, I thought it looked cool, because they didn't look as ridgy as they did, which I thought was really cool, because it practically made them invisible at a certain distance when you're looking at them. It looked really cool. Now, over to Prototype 5. I have to say it was my best as far as doing the ridges. Well, not the ridges, but the fur points. I still think that looks good, but unfortunately I didn't have the pixel space to do what I wanted to. What I tried to do through this whole thing is duplicate the actual artist I was looking at. But at a certain point doing this final tail, I decided, all these artists you ever look at, they all have a different pattern. No two artists are the same, it appears to be. So I decided to try my own style. My own style would have worked if I would have had the space to do so. but unfortunately I didn't. So I never had a chance to finish, which was the irritating point, because when I did so many different ways for here to here, and it was irritating at certain points because, it just didn't look right. At a certain point I had it from here all the way to over here with at least 3 different colors. Well, 2 actually. There is just a blue here and here, and then I tried to go for a white look in the middle right here. But I did that one night, thought it looked great. The next day at the same time, I opened it up, looked at it. I didn't like it, so I decided to erase it all. Of course, the color, not the actual outline. Otherwise, it wouldn't be right here on this video. Anyway, there was so many different ways of that I was doing this, and I didn't realize the problem until a couple weeks after I had been working on it. I had been studying the other artists' pictures, and I finally ended up realizing that I didn't have enough space to try and get the illusion that I was going for. And there are still things that I do need to try to incorporate, but in order for them, you have to have that space that I didn't have. If you want to make it look good, to all those who are newer at this, you gotta go big. At least for me, you had to go big. Because you think about it. If you go small, yeah, it'll be easier, it'll be faster, but be grainier. Or you'll get irritated in the middle of it and just decide to go boom. Or throw your computer, hard drive, or whatever out the window or something like that. Okay? Don't do that. I haven't, but got close to. Anyway, don't quit on it unless you entirely know that you do not have what you require to do what you want. Now remember, the more pixels you add, the more detail you add, the more memory it will take up on your computer. Not saying that it will take up a lot. It could take up to about 12 megabits maybe, depending. Because I noticed people make really big pictures. And they're pretty cool. But anyway, just don't quit on it. Experiment. Do what you want. Specifically you. You have a style. If you want to do this, you gotta keep going at it. You gotta put your irritation aside and keep on going, because at prototype 4, at prototype 3, I was really irritated with such a small item. I was ready to just erase it. And before prototype 5 and after prototype 4, there were like 3 different other tales I had that just didn't, I did 2 of them to be exact. The first one, I thought it was going to look good when what I was trying to do. It looks like a colored mess. because I had way too many different shades in the way too many wrong places. And I just decided to completely erase it because I decided I can't post this online. I can't post this on my computer. I can't even look at it. So what I do? I erased it, of course. Then I had another one. I had like purple and yellow. I did the entire freaking tail. I did the edges. I did the colors. I did the shading. I did everything. Finished it. Next day, turn it on. I didn't like it. What I do? I erase it. Start a whole new one. Because I was doing what I was doing before. And if you noticed, I tried to do something different every time. Because each one had different amounts of detail, and Prototype 3 was like a huge difference. So, and unfortunately with Prototype 5, I could not accomplish what I wanted to do. Now I could have made the page bigger, did more, but I chose not to, because I decided if I'm going to make a big page, I'm going to make art worth putting onto it. So, but sometimes you put your irritation aside, because you may end up finding a piece that you like. If you don't like the color, don't erase the whole picture. Just erase the color and try a different color. Maybe you'll find what you want. Normally, I use my favorite color. My favorite color is blue. And that's the color I tried to incorporate with Prototype 5, because I was really anticipating to make a blue tail, but I did not have my room. So, there you have it. Don't give up. Digital art is not hard, but it is not easy either. You take a look at games like the upcoming Killzone Shadowfall. That they don't do it at regular size. No, they zoom in way into the character. I had finally realized while browsing the internet one day, rather than making the pixels smaller, they zoom way in on the character to make the threads of a rope look so real. And it's amazing how they put so much hard work into this, something so simple, but you want to put that extra effort in there. I mean, why be lazy at it? But of course there was multiple animators too, and digital artists, so they didn't take them exactly forever, but you get what I mean. Maybe. Just I'd let your imagination go free, like you're supposed to always do with art. Thank you for having the patience watching this video, and the fact of actually waiting for any possible load times for this video. Now, I will have you know that joining both of those sites are free. Now there are upgrades, I think, for both sites that you can go without ads, but personally, I could care less if they were there or not. It's completely free. They both have you put in a backstory, pretty much of yourself, your age, and all that. So if you wanna see where I go, become a member of both of those sites. There's this thing you can do. It's called a watcher. It's basically as if you were subscribing to a channel for YouTube. Every time someone posts a picture, you will know about it. Thank you for watching this video. And listening, of course.